What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to be talking about the recent NBA signing which just happened of the Chicago Bulls signing Jordan Bell to a 10-day contract. Now, the reason I'm kind of talking about this one a little bit more than, of course, other 10-day contracts is because I actually believe this is one that could potentially stick. I actually believe Jordan Bell is a pretty decent player and I think should be in the NBA, and I definitely think that a team like Chicago, who's lacking, big man depth, could definitely use a guy like Jordan Bell. Again, I'm also doing face cam for this video, so if you don't want to see my ugly face or anything like that, then I'm sorry for this video, but it probably won't be sticking like this for a long time, so don't get used to it or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm really excited to see how Jordan Bell goes with the Chicago Bulls. I've always thought he's kind of been one of those players that has kind of just been a little bit too small for the position that he needs to play. Of course, he needs to be a center, but we all know that Jordan Bell is like 6'8", 6'9", I believe. He's just not tall enough to be that center position. He doesn't have necessarily, I don't think he necessarily has the vertical as well, and just kind of the way he plays. You notice when he goes for a block or something like that, he'll always be like this much off, getting that block. It's really difficult because he's always in that right place, right situation. He can just never do it because of kind of the way he plays. He's one of those guys that he's too tall and too slow to maybe play power forward, but he's too short and not defensively consistent enough to be a center. So it's kind of like he needs another, like a sixth position that kind of sits in the middle of power forward and center. He needs that implemented in. But of course, because that's not a thing in the NBA, he definitely struggles quite a bit. And, we've seen that there have been a lot of power forwards now that have been, tall and maybe slow that have come in. But the reason that Jordan Bell can't do what they can is because Jordan Bell can't go out and guard the perimeter, consistently. He's not one of those guys who's going to be able to guard power forwards all night. Like, you look at a dude like, Tobias Harris or even Giannis, someone like that. Jordan Bell is not going to be able to keep up with those type of players. As soon as they charge through and get to the paint, he's just not going to be able to do that. And then you look at even like a power forward like Kevin Love on the Cleveland Cavaliers. As soon as he gets that three-point, shot going and Jordan Bell just can't get there in time to defend him, then it's going to be a serious issue. So that's why he kind of consistently guards the center position now. But then when we also look at it like this, the Chicago Bulls have been a pretty small ball team this year, so I actually think that this could be a pretty interesting situation where I think he could work. I definitely feel like he can work. Their backup center is Tony Bradley, and I would say Tony Bradley is a better player than what Jordan Bell is. I just feel like it's pretty difficult, and when if Tony Bradley or Vucevic were to go down or get COVID or whatever, then their next backup center is like Derrick Jones, and he's a forward. In my opinion, I would probably usually consistently play him at a small forward position, but because the Chicago Bulls are such a small ball team, they run him at power forward, and they've even run him at center a couple times this season, and they've even ran like Javonte Green at like a small forward, and I even saw him guard the power forward this one game. Like, it's crazy that this dude is 193 centimeters, like 6 foot, I think that's 6'3", and he's like guarding power forward some nights. That's insane. The Chicago Bulls took small ball too literally, and it's actually worked out really well for them, so good on them. I think Jordan Bell does fit this thing. I think that he's just been extremely unlucky. I don't actually remember what the last NBA team he was on. I know he actually was on the Cleveland Cavaliers training camp roster like a year ago, and then, yeah, he signed a 2-year non-guaranteed deal with them, and then they traded him like a couple months later, even though he'd spent like all his time in the long preseason, that because the Cavs had to, they weren't allowed to play due to COVID, and they just weren't good enough to play in the bubble. Jordan Bell was like training with the Cavaliers that whole entire time, and then they traded him away to the Lakers for JaVale McGee, and they just waived him straight away, which is really, really weird. So, I don't know, Jordan Bell just kind of floated around. I think he played for some G League teams. I think he even like popped up on the Wizards at one stage. I'm not even exactly too sure about that, but I think when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, he should be able to do something. He should make a somewhat of a change to their team, and whether they've got Vucevic out or Tony Bradley doesn't need another one of those big men. I think they've found a pretty good guy to bring in. It didn't seem like DeMarcus Cousins or anyone like that was going to fit their team because they are really such a small ball dedicated team, and I think Jordan Bell is quite a bit quicker than DeMarcus Cousins, if I'm being honest, and Cousins has actually flourished for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if they've announced it yet, if they've signed him for the rest of the season, but they should have. He's playing out of his mind for them. And Brook Lopez has been injured and hasn't even really played the season. And when he did play like that one game, he just didn't look that good. I think his career might be coming to an end. He's just had a bunch of injury issues recently, and he's just... I don't know how to describe him. I don't rate Brook Lopez that much at the moment. I think he's regressed a lot more than I think a lot of people will say he has. So I actually feel bad for him, but I feel good for DeMarcus Cousins. He'll get his chance, and I think he'll get a long-term deal with the Milwaukee Bucks very, very soon. Maybe a 2-year deal. I think that's what he wants. But again, when we look at Jordan Bell, he kind of comes in, plays the small ball, kind of lineup that the Chicago Bulls will have, and he really just needs to play his role. Like, just get boards. That's what you need to do. Get boards. Just help out. Like, make sure, like, especially with the Bulls, how they're a very big pace and space, kind of team. Like, they'll run the floor, and if they'll get an open dunk, if they have an open dunk there, they're taking that. If not, they're gonna have 3-point shooters all around. Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, crazy 3-point shooter now. Alex Caruso as well has been a good 3-point shooter for quite a while. Patrick Williams before he got injured. All of these 3-point shooters around, plus a lot of them are athletic enough to be able to drive and get to the paint with ease and even get a nice consistent dunk here and there. And Jordan Bell just needs to do that. He needs to run the floor. Like, don't, just make sure you do that. Don't worry about really anything else. As soon as you get that rebound, pass it off and quickly get down that floor, because that's the way the Chicago Bulls play. They're a very fast team. Pace and space is a big thing for them. And yeah, defense as well. You just do well in the interior. Probably don't worry about the perimeter. The Bulls got so many guards and wings that can guard the perimeter. That's really all he needs to focus on. Just guard the interior. Don't worry about really anything else. I think that's the big thing. And look, if they need you to switch, then switch. Try it. That's really the big thing with Jordan Bell. Like, he's just got to play... He's going to play that Tristan Thompson role that I think the Cavaliers had Tristan Thompson playing like 2016 when they won the championship, where it's just kind of get down the floor fast, get a board here and there, but also just be that pressure guy. I think that's what they'll need as well, and probably a bunch of screens here and there. And if he can do that, he'll get signed. I think he deserves to be in the NBA. I think he's an alright player. I think he even spent time in the Golden State Warriors actually in the pre-season, and they didn't sign him back. So yeah, if you're the Chicago Bulls, see how he goes, and then I guess you kind of go from there. So that's the really interesting thing, yeah. But again, with the Warriors, I think they were keeping close tabs on him for a while. I actually think he possibly trained with the Santa Cruz Warriors. He might have even signed with them. But he was really big on the Warriors. Like, when they were looking for their 15th man, it was either Avery Bradley, Jordan Bell, or I think, Gary Payton was there as well. And there was someone else, Langston Galloway, who's now on the Nets. Like, all these players are in the NBA again, which is crazy that they all managed to find their way on a team. Gary Payton ended up winning that spot. Avery Bradley went to the Lakers like the next day. Jordan Bell's just now got picked up by the Bulls, and Langston Galloway a couple of days ago got signed by the Nets. So it's pretty, awesome that these guys are all in the NBA now, and they were all competing for that 15th man spot on the Golden State Warriors. And I think that tells you how, deep that Warriors team is. They had 5 people competing for that spot that are all on an NBA team now, which is crazy to think. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA content and NBA news. Go subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/Alone channels, which I'll all be linking in the description down below. And comment your thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think about Jordan Bell being signed by the Chicago Bulls? Do you guys think it was a good move? Do you guys think it was a bad move? Of course, I would definitely really like to know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.